India Today has accessed exclusive audio conversation between security personnel and Lashkar terrorist Abu Dujana moments before he was gunned down in Pulwama on Tuesday morning. In fact, the army personnel pleaded to the terror chief to surrender. Let's just listen in to this exclusive audio conversation.
Hello. हाँ दुजाना
क्या हाल है?
हाँ
तुम्हें क्या हाल है?
हमारे हाल तो छोड़ तू क्यों सरेंडर क्यों नहीं करता?
कहाँ करूँगा सरेंडर है दोस्त?
अरे ठीक है, वो जो निकले थे तो निकले थे, तेरे को तो पता है ना अभी क्या है, सब खराब है, ये गेम है सब।
मैं क्या करूँ, इसको गेम खेलना, चलो मुझे अपना रास्ता लेने देना है।
तेरे को था उसे तू करना, तू अपनी सोच यार, तू तेरे माँ बाप हैं बाहर यार, पार।
माँ बाप तुम उस दिन मर गया जिस दिन उनको छोड़ के आया।
अरे यार उनके लिए तू थोड़ी ना मरा है, तू नहीं मरा उनके लिए। मैं तू तैयार हो, मैं करवाऊंगा, मैं कब बोल रहा हूँ, यही तो है। और ये गेम अब खत्म ही कर दे यार, इसको ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
कभी आप आगे हम पीछे, कभी आप पीछे हम आगे, चलो यार आपने पकड़ लिया, मुबारक हो आपको।
नहीं देख, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, तेरी अपना काम था, तू अपने फर्ज पे निकला था, हम अपने फर्ज पे निकले हैं। देख ये लोग भी मारे जाएंगे, इनको पार से छोड़ेंगे नहीं इसी चीज में, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है।
Okay, we have with us Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant, Kamaljeet Sandhu and India Today's Shreya Ul Haq. Gaurav, here is a top militant commander carrying a bounty of 15 lakh rupees, labelled an A++ terrorist wanted in several militancy-related, cases, being given another chance. The army actually requesting him rather, to surrender.
You know, this conversation that India Today has accessed is actually an eye-opener.
Yes.
For people who say that army goes and moves in for the kill. Here you can see a long conversation, and these are just small portions that our viewers are listening to. We've been listening to this entire conversation. It's a very calm conversation. There is no panic in either voice, and the officer is repeatedly asking Abu Dujana, he's a Pakistani terrorist, he's targeted security personnel, but the officer is very calmly asking him to surrender and expose this so-called jihad in Kashmir. It's an industry, and that is what the officer wants Abu Dujana to expose. That conversation lasts more than 15 minutes in bits and pieces. They want everyone to surrender, and we'll talk about this in greater detail, but this shows how the army repeatedly gave Abu Dujana an opportunity to surrender. When he didn't, he was gunned down.
Absolutely. And Kamaljeet, taking away from what Gaurav just mentioned, the ease, the composure with which the conversation is taking place, the army personnel persuading him to surrender is also commendable. I mean, here is a militant who is the top commander of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, wanted in so many cases, and yet being given another chance to turn a new leaf, to change his life around.
Well, absolutely, and one can little fathom that just before a fierce encounter in which Dujana and Arif were actually killed down, in that encounter, this conversation actually took place. So a family member obviously carried that phone and got Dujana on the line to speak to the army major. But what is significant is that this is not a new tactics. The army has been trying to have militants surrender just before encounters. But we have seen in the past few, and even in this particular instance itself, that Pakistani terrorists, they are very motivated. They are not the ones who would really easily surrender. And Dujana knew that he has a legacy of his own. He is a man who came in while he was only 16 years old. So he came almost as a boy, and then he stayed on for 9 years. He's managed to give security forces a slip. So there is, in that particular sense, this encounter was extremely important. The army knows that this man is a gold mine of information. His surrender could be one of the biggest things that could have happened. But yes, his legacy, he is at the level of how Burhan Wani himself was. But remember, unlike other Pakistani commanders, the strength that Dujana had was his stealth, that he could easily mix with the locals. He was getting information, that is why he could give slip. But obviously his luck had run out, and he himself tells the army major that this is the time that you've got me, congratulations for that, you've got the information. So yes, there is one upmanship even in this case. And remember, we know that there has been spate of encounters today in Shopian, in Kulgam, Kulgam in the over-and-out encounter, there's information where Hizbul Mujahideen has taken credit. So obviously, this is a game of information. Sometimes it's the security forces who gets it, sometimes it's the terrorists who get information, and that is how they launch attacks. But this case, being more specific, is the opportunity that Indian Army and the security forces gave to this particular man, that come on this side, surrender and tell the people the truth. But obviously not taking that opportunity, Dujana was eventually killed. And remember, even Pakistan refused to take his body. He was buried in Shiri in Baramulla in an unmarked grave meant for foreign terrorists. So a fight that he was carrying on in the name of Pakistan is the country which has refused to take his body.
And you know, another thing, Shiraj, that one comes out from that exclusive audio conversation just moments before Abu Dujana, the top Lashkar commander, was eliminated, is the fact to the extents to which these people, you know, these militants, these terrorists are indoctrinated, are brainwashed, because despite every, persuasion, he remains unalarmed and refuses to surrender.
Well, that's right, and it's very evident from the conversation that has come to fore. The manner that Abu Dujana was talking to this army major clearly, gives you an idea how composed these people are. And despite this army major constantly trying to persuade him, asking him to surrender, he seemed to be motivated enough, and his answers were very clear that he is doing what he is supposed to do and will carry on doing that. This is a clear example of how motivated, how indoctrinated these militants are, perhaps particularly those who come from across the line of control. With regards to Abu Dujana, his case was very peculiar. He has been one of the longest serving or rather operating militant in South Kashmir and other parts of the valley. Apart from the fact that just off late, in last couple of months, he has been a little inactive. Otherwise, he has been one of the most active militants, foreign militants in this entire region. So him being motivated in this manner is something that one can already understand. But what one also needs to see in a bigger picture is there are so many other militants of foreign nature functioning in the valley. Okay. This gives you a very disturbing example of how motivated and indoctrinated those would be.
I'm going to go straight across now to Sushant Sareen, who's joining us also on the broadcast. Good afternoon, Sushant. We just played an excerpt of that exclusive audio conversation. The ease and the composure with which the army officer is trying to persuade Abu Dujana to surrender is something that has also been a revelation. But is this behavior expected from a foreign terrorist? Because he remains adamant. He remains, in fact, absolutely unalarmed with, him being cornered and being asked to turn a new leaf, to surrender himself.
No, I don't think. I think this is fairly along expected lines. See, you have to understand where most of these guys are coming from. They're basically lowlifes who have been given some sense of purpose by fighting about jihad, fighting a jihad, as they call it. And then there is this thing that, yes, they have been indoctrinated. But about the motivation, I'm not entirely sure how motivated they are, considering that this fellow was a womanizer and also liked some of the better things of life. So obviously he's got a sense of purpose by becoming a jihadi. Otherwise, he would have been pushing a handcart somewhere. The other thing is that he also knows that if he surrenders, he's dead whether he fights or he surrenders. Even if he surrenders, his own sense is that he's not going to be able to survive for very long, because ultimately he'll probably hang. And then whatever swabab, as they call it, he was going to receive in the afterlife, perhaps that might not be coming his way. So I suppose, it's a kind of a death cult. Most of these jihadists belong to a death cult. And yes, it's entirely understandable that, they've come, they have a low shelf life. This guy had a fairly high shelf life. But most of them have a low shelf life, and, it's a matter of months, maybe a couple of years before they're bummed off. So I suppose he knew what the writing on the wall was and decided that he is going to go out in what he imagines is a blaze of glory. Right. I would call it a blaze of ignominy, but That's the way I look at it.
Okay, stay on with me. Gaurav, in this audio conversation, he in fact even confesses to his Pakistan connection.
He indeed does, and this once more exposes the Pakistan connection, Avantika. And, Tariq Pirzada joins us on the broadcast from Pakistan. Tariq Pirzada, more proof of Pakistani terrorists fighting in Kashmir. One killed by the Indian army, but the army gave him an opportunity to surrender. Now that audio conversation is on television, Tariq Pirzada, Pakistan stands exposed.
Well, the problem is, and this is a shame also for the leadership in India, for the media in India, for the RAW, for the intelligence agencies of India, that they know that, as the gentleman said a few months ago, that Kashmir is splitting to the fingers of India because of a massive freedom movement. And if it don't come to negotiate...
Tariq Pirzada, if it was a freedom movement, a Pakistani terrorist wouldn't be fighting there. You seem to avoid the main point. There's a Pakistani terrorist who's dead.
Let me make one thing clear. Every single Pakistani, whether he is a Mujahid or not, he will be supporting the freedom in Kashmir, would like to want to support the movement in Kashmir. There is a freedom movement in Kashmir, and today I have a
So what you're saying is that Pakistanis will become terrorists? Pakistanis are terrorists, they'll pick up guns and fight in Kashmir. Would you do that, Tariq Pirzada?
If Subhash Chandra Bose was a terrorist, all Pakistanis are terrorists.
Tariq Pirzada, really now. Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was fighting for independence. He was Indian, he was fighting in India. Sushant Sareen, Tariq Pirzada draws just absurd parallels, Sushant Sareen.
The state of Kashmir.
Stay with me, Tariq Pirzada, because this kind of, words fail me. You absolutely have no idea. Sushant Sareen, if you're with me, there is no parallel. Okay, Tariq Pirzada, he's a Pakistani. Do you realize that? He's a Pakistani terrorist who's been killed in India, and he was given an opportunity to surrender, Tariq Pirzada.
Hold on. Go ahead. I've known you a long time. Let me give you something and to falsify your statement. I heard the conversation on another show just 15 minutes ago between the two guys, and the language that they were speaking was from the old town Delhi. It was not from Gilgit and Baltistan, as some of your channels are suggesting. The guys fabricate a story, make a fake video, but the reality is,
so now you're an expert on language. Tariq Pirzada. You know whether that language is spoken in Old Town Delhi or that's a language of a terrorist in Kashmir speaking to a soldier in the valley. Really?
Do you understand the word freedom fight?
Well, there is a freedom, of course. I'm sure you know what freedom fighting is all about. It's happening in Balochistan and you're watching it there. You're watching it in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, you're watching it in Gilgit and Baltistan. I'm sure you know a thing or two about freedom struggles. But what's happening in Kashmir is Pakistan-sponsored terror. And the tragedy is, Tariq Pirzada, you launch a terrorist and then your country doesn't even accept his body, Tariq Pirzada.
Let me agree with you for a second. There is a freedom movement in Balochistan. Let's agree with you for a second. But I'm glad, by the same token, you agree that there is a major freedom movement in Indian-occupied Kashmir. And this is a point that I wanted to say for a long time. The freedom movement in Kashmir cannot be branded.
Sorry, that's a Pakistani. You seem to be missing the main point, Tariq Pirzada, and that is where conversation with you often becomes infructuous for the simple reason it's a Pakistani terrorist who's killed in Kashmir. You don't seem to realize that fact. You don't seem to realize that terrorists like Ajmal Amir Kasab, who were Pakistanis, came into Mumbai. What you don't seem to realize is your country sends terrorists into India and into Afghanistan.
I've known you a long time. Let me say one thing. You remember, you are so young, you won't remember, you may not have even read the documents. No, you may have read the documents, I don't want to insult you. In the letter that was sent by non-veterans, to the Indian government in response to the expression request, so-called expression request. The Mountbatten said, yes, we are allowing Indian forces to come into Kashmir, but the fate of Kashmir remains in the hands in the first paragraph.
I'm so sorry. That's so selective. That is so selective. What you don't realize is your country sent in raiders. If you want to go back into history, Tariq Pirzada, your country sent in raiders. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was all dressed up wearing his best suit in Lahore, waiting to land in Kashmir. But he was in Srinagar. He was in for a rude shock because the Indian army pushed back the Pakistani raiders from the 24th to the 27th. It's the Pakistanis who were raping and looting and plundering Uri and Baramulla for 3 days, and that's when the Indian army stopped them and pushed them back. General G.D. Bakshi joins me on the broadcast, and General G.D. Bakshi, you may like to tell Tariq Pirzada when he quotes history to me, he should know the history of his country and how they raped and plundered Uri and Baramulla for 3 days in 47.
You know, Pakistan has a history of duplicity. In the name of liberating Kashmir, they sent 5,000 bloodthirsty Mahsood tribesmen and another 5,000 from the other tribes. The Mahsoods were sent because they could come with the largest number of civilian trucks to carry back the loot, and they captured women to be sold in the brothels of Afghanistan and Central Asia. This was Pakistan's idea of liberation. The Kashmiris were shocked and horrified. Sheikh Abdullah at that side had said, the Pakistanis, the raiders, they turned our mosques into brothels to satisfy their lust. Every village, every town, Baramulla was burnt, and every woman from 7 to 70 was raped. This was the Pakistani idea of liberation. I'm very sorry, but this theme continues. Take a look at this man, Abu Dujana. Yes. He was a philanderer of the highest order. He had girlfriends in almost every village, and he had... Hello.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello.
Absolutely. And Tariq Pirzada, if you're still with us, that is the reality of Pakistani terrorists, Pakistani army and raiders in Kashmir in 1947, Tariq Pirzada. Okay, perhaps the truth was rather unpalatable to Tariq Pirzada, but this is the reality of Kashmir that Tariq Pirzada and Pakistanis and also people in Jammu and Kashmir should realize. This is exactly what the Pakistan army and raiders did in 1947, and Pakistani terrorists like Abu Dujana continued till their last breath in Kashmir, and despite that, the Indian army gave Abu Dujana an opportunity to surrender. General G.D. Bakshi, if you're still with me, what does this speak of the army operations in Kashmir Valley, General Bakshi?
I couldn't hear the last part of your question, please.
The army major on ground gave Abu Dujana an opportunity to surrender, not once, not twice, but this conversation lasted over 15 minutes, and India Today has accessed that conversation where he's repeatedly telling this terrorist, you may have come from Par. Par means across the border. You have parents across. You are married here. You should surrender. Otherwise, what's happening in Kashmir? You need to tell the people the truth about what's happening in Kashmir. What does this indicate about army operations in Kashmir?
It indicates the humane nature of these operations, where instead of just trying to kill, all it would have taken was one bloody bullet in his head. But we still, the officers on the spot, still tried their damnedest to try and get him to surrender, to come over ground and live rather than die such a hopeless dog's death. But, you know, the man was a hardened criminal. You've seen how he reacted. You have seen how he was callous about his father and mother, and he said they were dead to me. You know, these are unfortunately brainwashed people. They are fed all sorts of lies and propaganda that the mosques in Kashmir are being burnt, the women being raped, nobody is allowed to give the azan, nobody is allowed to say the prayers 5 times a day. And they come and then they are quite shocked when they see the reality on the ground.
Absolutely. General G.D. Bakshi, stay with me for a moment for the benefit of viewers who are joining us. Let's listen into this conversation. Abu Dujana was cornered. Abu Dujana was trapped. He knew his time was up. But yet the security forces they sent in a phone. And it's a very interesting conversation because first they asked Arif Dar, the local Kashmiri terrorist who was inside, how many people are there in the house, whether it's possible to let his sister surrender, come out in the open, then his father, then the three brothers who are not terrorists. Listen into that entire conversation and listen into that conversation with Abu Dujana. This is an India Today exclusive.
मुबारक हो आपको।
नहीं देख, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। तेरी अपना काम था, तू अपने फर्ज पे निकला था, हम अपने फर्ज पे निकले हैं। देख, ये लोग भी मारे जाएंगे, इनको पार से छोड़ेंगे नहीं इसी चीज में, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। चल देख यार, देख कोई ऐसा कुछ नहीं है हमारे लिए, कोई हमने कोई तेरे लिए बहुत दुश्मनी नहीं, तू कर सरेंडर।
जो मेरे किस्मत में लिखा होगा अल्लाह वही करेगा, ठीक है।
देख अल्लाह तो साथ देगा ही देगा यार, जो भी है वो थोड़ी ना बुरा चाहता है किसी का भी। उसने वो हमारे लिए भी एक ही है।
सच बात है, वो तो आपके लिए भी मेरे लिए भी एक ही है।
बिल्कुल, तुम खुद आ जाओ ना। अब ये बोलता रहा कि खुद पहले बहन को या मदर को निकलवा।
मदर कहाँ है?
अच्छा तो बहन को निकलवा। और भी कौन लेडीज कौन कौन है?
बस बहन और भाई 3 और एक मेहमान है,
अंदर ही है। और मेहमान
में बूढ़ा बेचारा मुसाफिर है।
बूढ़ा है भाई? तो उस बूढ़े को भेजो पहले बाहर, फिर या तो अपनी सिस्टर को तो भेज, उसको बोल अपनी सिस्टर को इसको भेजेगा पहले। जब ये आएगी अकेले भेज इसको, पर नहीं तो भेजेगा वो
उसको कैसे भेजेगा सर, ये तो प्रॉब्लम है।
So all efforts made till the end to ensure that Abu Dujana and Arif Dar, they surrender. And before that, so that there is no collateral damage, the security forces kept telling Abu Dujana and Arif Dar to at least let the women, the aged and those who are not a part of the terror module to come out so that they are safe. Now, Avantika Singh, my colleague with me on this story, Kamaljeet Kaur, Sandhu, Shujaul Haq and Jaljiri Bakshi. Lots more coming up on the story on the other side of a short break. Stay with us.
Welcome back to India Today, accessing the exclusive audio conversation between the security personnel and Lashkar terrorist Abu Dujana. This conversation, in fact, has happened moments before he was gunned down in Pulwama on Tuesday morning, with the army personnel actually, being heard trying to persuade the terrorists to surrender. Let's listen in to this exclusive audio conversation.
Hello. हाँ दुजाना,
क्या हाल है?
हाँ
क्या हाल है?
हमारे हाल तो छोड़, तू क्यों सरेंडर क्यों नहीं करता?
कहाँ करूँगा सरेंडर है दोस्त।
अरे ठीक है, वो जो निकले थे तो निकले थे, तेरे को तो पता है ना अभी क्या है, सब खराब है, ये गेम है सब।
मैं क्या करूँ, इसको गेम खेलना, चलो मुझे अपना रास्ता लेने देना यार।
तेरे को था उसे तू करना, तू अपनी सोच यार, तू तेरे माँ बाप है बाहर यार, पार।
माँ बाप तुम उस दिन मर गया जिस दिन उनको छोड़ के आया।
अरे यार उनके लिए तू थोड़ी ना मरा है, तू नहीं मरा उनके लिए। तू तैयार हो, मैं करवाऊंगा, मैं कब बोल रहा हूँ, यही तो है। और ये गेम अब खत्म ही कर दे यार, इसको ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
कभी आप आइए हम पीछे, कभी आप पीछे हम आए, चलो यार आपने पकड़ लिया, मुबारक हो आपको।
नहीं देख, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। तेरी अपना काम था, तू अपने फर्ज पे निकला था, हम अपने फर्ज पे निकले हैं। देख, ये लोग भी मारे जाएंगे, इनको पार से छोड़ेंगे नहीं इसी चीज में, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है।
Correspondents Kamaljeet, Sandhu and Shujaul Haq. But before I go to them, Sultan Ali is also joining us now on the broadcast. Thanks so much for speaking to us. We just played out an excerpt of that conversation between the Indian Army officer and the Pakistan-based terrorists, literally, persuading him to surrender, and him, Abu Dujana, confessing to having links with Pakistan. Your reactions?
Well, I find it appalling that such a person could have been sent from our side of this. I'm sure he must be acting on his own, or the government of Pakistan is definitely not behind this.
Sir, Jammu and Kashmir police recently approached the Pakistan High Commission asking them to claim the body of Abu Dujana. That was denied. Your reactions on that bit of news?
That is a question which actually the Pakistani High Commissioner at New Delhi can answer better than me.
All right, okay. Stay on with me. Stay on with me, sir. We also have Hamza now joining us for more details and updates. We just played out that conversation. We also spoke, Hamza, to Tariq Pirzada a short while back, completely denying the links of Abu Dujana and Pakistan. But he admits to having links with Pakistan. He in fact belongs to Gilgit-Baltistan in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. He in fact even confesses to the same in this audio conversation.
In Pakistan, I think, this news is basically has not been responded on the official grounds. First of all, because Pakistan, as you said, that Azad Jammu Kashmir or Jammu Kashmir authorities wanted Pakistan to claim the body, but obviously when Pakistan is not owning up to the man, they would not be also putting up any claims to actually take the body. Also, Pakistan officially has not responded at all. They have not even uttered a word if he's from Pakistan or not, if he has anything to do with Pakistan. So Pakistan's position right now is pretty clear that Pakistan is not ready to own up to what the claims of this terrorist has been.
Okay, Hamza, continue to stay on with us through the broadcast. We're going to play another excerpt of this audio conversation in exclusive possession with India Today between the army officer and Abu Dujana, the top Lashkar commander, just moments before he was gunned down.
मुबारक हो आपको।
नहीं देख, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। तेरी अपना काम था, तू अपने फर्ज पे निकला था, हम अपने फर्ज पे निकले हैं। देख, ये लोग भी मारे जाएंगे, इनको पार से छोड़ेंगे नहीं इसी चीज में, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। चल देख यार, देख कोई ऐसा कुछ नहीं है हमारे लिए, हमने कोई तेरे लिए बहुत दुश्मनी नहीं, तू कर सरेंडर।
जो मेरे किस्मत में लिखा होगा अल्लाह वही करेगा, ठीक है।
देख, अल्लाह तो साथ देगा ही देगा यार, जो भी है वो थोड़ी ना बुरा चाहता है किसी का भी। उसने वो हमारे लिए भी एक ही है।
बस बात है, वो तो आपके लिए भी मेरे लिए भी एक ही है।
बिल्कुल यार, सुन मेरी बात भाई, तूने शादी की है उससे यार, लड़की से?
मैंने कोई शादी बात नहीं, सब झूठ है, एक मतलब प्रोपेगेंडा है। शादी बात मुझे किसी कोई शादी बात नहीं की।
तुम खुद आ जाओ ना, अब ये बोलता रहा कि खुद पहले बहन को या मदर को निकलवा।
मदर कहाँ है?
अच्छा, तो बहन को निकलवा। और भी कौन लेडीज कौन कौन है?
बस बहन और भाई 3 और एक मेहमान है,
अंदर ही है। और मेहमान
में बूढ़ा बेचारा मुसाफिर है।
बूढ़ा है भाई? तो उस बूढ़े को भेजो पहले बाहर, फिर या तो अपनी सिस्टर को तो भेज, उसको बोल अपनी सिस्टर को भेज, इसको भेजेगा पहले। जब ये आएगी अकेले भेज इसको, पर नहीं तो भेजेगा वो
उसको पहले भेजेगा। सर ये तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
Kamaljeet Sandhu also is with us, and Kamaljeet, just when you hear this conversation between a Lashkar commander and a security personnel trying to persuade him to surrender, give up his old life, turn a new leaf, it's shocking as to the extent to which these guys are indoctrinated, how they have been brainwashed, and how how determined they are to continue with the cause that they have been set out for.
Well, absolutely. When Dujana came in several years ago, he was only 16 years old. He managed to survive for 9 long years, which goes to show that there is a sense of indoctrination. The other part is there's no going back. Many of these terrorists who come in usually have a shelf life for 2 years. Some of them even manage to go back, obviously train other terrorists, but not case of Dujana. Dujana towards the end was sidelined by his own masters in the POK. He was clearly not taking instructions from them. He had some tiff with them, and obviously that is why it was Abu Ismail who had replaced Dujana. Again, the other part is obviously how he was in touch with Zakir Musa, who started a Al-Qaeda cell in Kashmir. So all that has always been there. Towards the end, he was also caught by security forces almost many a times. The last month ago, where he actually managed to have a bullet in his leg. He was getting a treatment done in Srinagar as per the intelligence sources. So yes, he had close calls, but this was the end of it. He was going back to meet his wife, Ruqayya, something that he has denied in the conversation, saying it's a propaganda. But people know that it is a fact that Harkipora was a place where his wife belonged to. He'd gone to meet her. That's when he was really caught. So that is a trap. But definitely speaking, the security forces, though they had faced a few setbacks just before June, but remember, once they were out with their top 10, 12 terrorists, they had marked 6 of them were already down in the first 2 months, especially after the killing of Sabzar Bhatt, who was the Hizbul Mujahideen commander. But again, we've known they've been very focused. They've worked on the intelligence sources, and that is how they've got the big kill. But Dujana towards the end was more like a sideline man. He was almost broken. obviously betrayed by his own. Abu Ismail clearly taking over, even his conversations with his masterminds in POK not bearing fruits. So yes, obviously he was let down, and the other part is obviously that people were informing about the movement, and that is how he really got trapped.
Absolutely. And you know, Hamza, we've been speaking to a lot of experts from Pakistan, because he himself, Abu Dujana, in that conversation, he himself confesses to belong from Pakistan. But then once again, you know, like the past, we've heard the standard line of defense that, you know, these guys are not from Pakistan, they're not Pakistanis, despite, you know, various testimonies from captured terrorists in the past as well.
Well, I think this is how it seems to be. You know, we have a history of these kind of positioning taken, you know, from the Pakistan side, and also at times from Indian side, because when Pakistan has also got a rebuttal on that. They say that, you know, when Ehsanullah Ehsan, the spokesperson of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, was actually he surrendered to the Pakistan army, he gave out a confessional statement as well, calling out that, you know, their organization is supported by the Research and Analysis Wing of India from Afghanistan, and has had meetings with them. India actually, and understandably so, denied his claims coming from a terrorist. You cannot, you know, judge him to be right or wrong, or a propaganda or whatever. But this is something that has been happening when Pakistan claims, you know, terrorism is coming in from the Indian side, or Indian terrorism is coming from Afghanistan. India says no, and India says Pakistan says the same. So I think this is how it has been.
All right, Hamza and Kamaljeet, we leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us. We just, you know, made our viewers hear the audio excerpts, the conversation between the army officer and Abu Dujana just before he was eliminated, moments before he was given a chance to surrender. But there was a very telling comment that was made from the Inspector General of Jammu and Kashmir when the encounter had ended, saying during a packed press conference how the girls, how the women in fact in South Kashmir can now heave a sigh of relief now that Abu Dujana has been neutralized. He went on to describe how the Lashkar commander had become a menace to society, how he would terrorize villagers and women. Let's take a look at this report.
First, terrorist Burhan Wani. Then, terrorist Sabzar Ahmed. And now, terrorist Abu Dujana. All tracked and neutralized when they were visiting either their wives or girlfriends. In Pakistani terrorist Abu Dujana's case, he had several girlfriends, and if the Jammu and Kashmir police are to be believed, he would forcibly enter their homes in South Kashmir and target women.
It was his sweet will now to enter any house and do whatever he wanted to do. Good riddance that way. I think people should relax, the girls, our sisters, they should relax now.
Abu Dujana was visiting his wife in village Hakripura when, according to sources, another woman allegedly exploited by Dujana shared details of his movement with the security forces. Dujana has learned to have exploited several young women in villages of South Kashmir.
So he was more of only enjoying himself here, जिसको हम कहते हैं ना कि वो अयाशी कर रहा था यहाँ पर. He was largely only a nuisance. That's the way I look at it.
Dujana was not the only one. Burhan Wani was rumored to have several women companions and was neutralized by security forces during one such late-night rendezvous.
यहाँ तक सूचनाएं मिली हैं, ये सब नौजवान लड़के हैं जो टेररिस्ट बने हैं. सबका इमेज है इनका, और तो लड़कियां इंप्रेस हो जाती हैं, तो कई लड़कियों से इनके संपर्क रहते हैं.
Terrorists use social media to circulate images and videos with weapons to impress girls. They also try and create a Robin Hood-like image, claiming they help the local people. But as surrendered terrorist Danish Ahmed told his interrogators, their aim of picking up the gun is not azadi, but to impress girls. With Jitendra Bahadur Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
I'm going to go straight across now to Executive Editor India Today, Gaurav Sawant. And Gaurav, that is such a significant remark made by the IG Jammu and Kashmir Police. Good riddance. How Abu Dujana became such a menace to society, a danger to the villagers.
And not just Abu Dujana, Avantika. A long list of terrorists from Abdullah Yuni to Saifullah to many say Burhan Wani, Sabzar Ahmad Bhatt, Abu Dujana. All of them similar modus operandi, the manner in which they were ultimately neutralized, the fact that because of weapons that they carried, social media taking their image as so-called Robin Hoods, far and wide, encouraging more youngsters to join the terror ranks only to be able to have more, women companions. This seemed to indicate they could persuade others to join them. And in many cases, and this is what the Jammu and Kashmir Police Inspector General said on record, that Abu Dujana would enter any house at will and molest women and do worse things at gunpoint. Parents could not complain because he was a terrorist. Who would they complain to anyway? There are some reports that seem to indicate that some of these terrorists would call women, educated women, girls studying in schools in Jammu and Kashmir, colleges in Jammu and Kashmir, some of them who were working, these terrorists would call them into the forest and exploit them. And that's exactly why Munir Khan said girls in South Kashmir can breathe easy.
Yes.
Abu Dujana has been neutralized.
Absolutely. Gaurav, thanks so much for joining us. Moving on now, and just to update our viewers about the encounter that took place in Shopia, the Hizbul Mujahideen has claimed responsibility for the attack wherein 2 army men, including a major, was martyred. Major Kamlesh Pandey and Sepoy Tanzeen Chutlim were martyred in the attack, and another Jawan who sustained injuries was rushed to the hospital in Srinagar. The encounter in fact started this morning itself when 3 terrorists holed up in a village opened fire at the security forces during search and cordon operation. A joint team of the army, the CRPF, the Jammu and Kashmir Police launched this operation after receiving a tip-off about the presence of these 3 terrorists in the area.
During encounter, the militants tried to escape and fired upon the party present over there. It lasted for around half an hour or so, in which we eliminated 2 militants of Hizbul Mujahideen outfit. We have recovered 1 AK-47 rifle along with magazine and ammunition.
Okay, fine. So that is the update on the Shopia encounter in which the Hizbul Mujahideen has claimed responsibility, and a bit of a setback for the army. But India Today also salutes the supreme sacrifice of these brave army officers and soldiers, Major Kamlesh Pandey, Sepoy Tanzeen Chutlim, who were tragically martyred in the attack. The encounter in fact took place early in the morning when the terrorists opened fire at the security forces. This was during a search operation. Shuja ul Haq joins us for more on this. Shuja, we have been talking about the Shopia incident since the early morning hours, with the Hizbul Mujahideen now coming out and claiming responsibility. 2 army men having lost their lives, 1 sustaining injuries. But was the security forces successful in capturing those terrorists?
Well, Avantika, that operation in which, 3 in fact soldiers were injured, out of which 2 later on succumbed to their injuries. It was very early in the morning when that operation was launched, and the moment this joint team of army, police and paramilitary forces reached the spot, they were fired upon, and it was in the initial bout of firing that these soldiers were injured. Now, after that, there was a brief gun fight, but it does seem that these militants have managed to escape from the spot. We managed to speak to the IG of Kashmir Range. He said that they have found some important clues, some leads as to who these militants were, and they were hot on their trail. But he accepted that it is possible that because of the darkness and taking advantage of the melee there, these militants might have managed to escape from the spot. So at this point of time, only search is being carried out, but there is no gunfight at the moment, at least in Shopian.
All right, so that was about the Shopian encounter. Thanks so much, Shuja, for joining us and giving us a quick update. Meanwhile, in another encounter, two Hizbul Mujahideen terrorists were gunned down in another ambush by security forces in the Gopalpura area of Jammu and Kashmir's Kulgam. According to reports, one of the slain terrorists was involved in an attack on a bank cash van in district in May this year, with the police also recovering 2 weapons from the encounter site. And following the encounter, as a precautionary measure like it's done, internet services have been suspended in the area. Police have said that the encounter was part of the anti-terror operations that are being conducted jointly by the CRPF, the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the Army in South Kashmir.
During encounter, the militants tried to escape and fired upon the party present over there. It lasted for around half an hour or so, in which we eliminated 2 militants of Hizbul Mujahideen outfit. We have recovered 1 AK-47 rifle along with magazine and ammunition, 1 insas which was snatched from Bugam guard, police guard, that has been also recovered. The duo was involved in many cases. One of them, the Aki Bittu, he was involved in attack on police cash van in Pambai, as well as in attack and looting of Kadar Jammu and Kashmir Bank branch.
Anti-terror operations of the Indian security forces and the arrest of Pakistan agents after India Today's Hurriyat expose has clearly rattled the terrorists. Hizbul Mujahideen commander Mahmood Ghaznavi has now released a video threatening security forces for performing their duty. He even goes on to warn policemen and army personnel of dire consequences for creating hurdles for his men. This terror video comes just 2 days after Lashkar commander Abu Dujana was gunned in a successful encounter by the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama.
भारतीय एजेंसियां हमारी जद्दोजहद को दबाने के लिए रास्तों की तलाश में हैं, जिसके लिए भारतीय एजेंसियां और यहां की मुकामी पुलिस भारत का आलाकार बनकर एक मुनज़्ज़म साइबर सेल चला रहा है, जो सोशल मीडिया पर हमारे अंदर दाखिल होकर मुख्तलिफ इश्यूज के हवाले से कंफ्यूजन पैदा कर रहे हैं। हम जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस फोर्स पर वाज़ेह करना चाहते हैं कि जो अफसर या सिपाही किसी भी जगह और किसी भी तरह हमारी तहरीक को कुचलने और नुकसान पहुंचाने में मुलव्वस हो, वो किसी भी सूरत में इसका खमियाजा भुगतेगा।